Hello everyone. In today's video, we're going to go over the brand new generative AI feature from Gavel called Blueprint. So we're going to use an example of this anti-coercion insurance disclosure, which you can follow along with if you go over to gavel.io. If you go under resources and templates, you're going to see this down here where it says anti-coercion insurance disclosure. And you can access this for free here. And if you just go to download as docx, you'll be able to save this and then you can follow along with me. So what this particular document does is it notifies the borrower that the lender can't require them to take insurance through any particular insurance agent or company. So we're going to use this one because it's nice and simple with one page so that you can kind of just play with this and get used to how to use it. So if you need any help along the way with learning how to use this, after watching this video, if you still have questions, you can go to the Gavel Learning Center by going to Resources, Learning Center, and there's a whole category for articles relating to how to use this new feature. So if you go down to here, it says Gavel Blueprint Beta, which means that this is still something that you can give feedback on and you can let them know what you would like to see or what's working for you, what you like, and so on. So you can see there's some articles here you can refer to as well. So let's go ahead and get into what this actually looks like and how to use it. So if you go over to your dashboard, you'll see that you can create a new workflow, and you'll see now that there is another option than what you would normally see. So what normally happens is you would go into your account and you would say new workflow. And then after saying new workflow, you'd be able to just put in the name of the document. So if you want to follow, the old way would be that you say new workflow, put in the name, and then it takes you over to the editor where you can start putting in your variables and questions. So let's just try that from scratch. So this is still available to you if you want to do this. So I'm going to say test code word hex demo 1. I'm going to say create, and we would go through and we would add a question, we would give it a variable, we would just go through that normal process. So we would change our name of the page. So let's just call this, for example, page 1, add a question, and it's a type that would be, let's say, lender's name. So we could say, what is the name of the lender? So we can say something like lender name, and so on. Maybe we would duplicate this, we would put in the borrower's name, or this could be like lender's information. We could have another page that has the borrower's information, and we can have them have what is the name of the borrower, etc., etc. Borrower name, and so on. So you can do it this way still, but what this allows you to do now is make it to where it's going to generate all of these for you instead. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the dashboard and we're going to try this out together. So if we say new workflow and we say this one here, then what you'll be able to do is take your template that we just downloaded from here, and you can just drag and drop it here. You could have more than one document if you'd like, but in this case, we're just going to use one. I'm going to say next. We're going to give it a name. I'm going to call it anti-coercion insurance disclosure. We'll say save. It's just going to take a second to determine where the best places are going to be to put in a variable and a question. So just give it a minute to do that. So once it's done, you're going to be taken over to this screen where you'll be able to accept or reject some variables. So if you look over here on the right, you're going to see that you've been given a variable name called borrower name, and you can click on it and it will show you in purple where this is. You can see here that it says 1 of 2 instances, and that's saying that there is a reoccurring variable, which will result in a single question in the final workflow. So for example, we have the borrower name here, and then we also have it here. So it's it recognizes that these two are the same. So it's gonna just have you have one variable that's a text question type, which you can change later if you want to. And it has a suggested question, which is, what is the name of the borrower? We can accept this or reject it, like this. And then we can go on to the next one, which we can click on and see where it is on our page. So here we can see that the signature of the signatory is the variable name. It's a text question, which we can change to a signature if we want to later. And the question is, what is the signature of the signatory, which we can accept or reject. We can also just change the question once this is created if we want to update it. We have the name of the signatory going here. We have the question that is here, the statute or code, which is here. So we can say that we want to change this to statute, let's say, or code, for example. And we can say, what is the statute or code referred to in the document? So it recognizes that these are an either or. So that's up to you how you want this to look. It's going to automatically save once you make that change. Property address, we can see that here. So these are the ones that have been created for us that we can review. And then once we're done reviewing, we can go to next. We can see that we also have questions for what is the name of the lender, what's the license number, name of the borrower loan number, signature, etc., etc., etc. And all of these can be updated. And on this page, what we're going to do is add another page name. And we can collapse this if we want to or expand it, and we can add a new page or not. In this case, maybe I would have the signature, we could say like signature page, add that. And what we can do here is actually drag and drop the one here. So we can say, what is the signature of the signatory? We can just drag that down here. And maybe that would actually be page 3, but we can just move things around. Let's do another page. Let's do something like borrower's information. Add that page. We can move this around, make this page 2 now, and we can pull the what is the name of the borrower down to here. We can change, let's see, what is the name of the lender, license number of the lender, etc., etc. But it just depends on what you want to do. Once you're done, we can move on to the next one. If you wanted to add an additional page, we could say like signatories information add page. Maybe we can pull this up or down. I'd say maybe here. And then we can say name of the signatory. We can say the title. And we can say, let's see, date of signing. So we can grab this one and drag it down. And then let's just leave the rest there. Let's go ahead and say next. Now what this is going to do is it's going to turn this into a workflow, and it's also going to automatically tag your documents with these new variables. It's going to create all of your questions for you, and you're able to add logic, change the questions, change the type of question. You can do lots of different things, change the name of the document, and so on and so forth. So we'll go through that process now. You can see that it's taken us here to the editor where we can make all of those new changes, which is pretty cool. So it's just going to take a second to load up, but you can see that now we're here. So we've created all of these variables, and we can just add anything we want. We can also see that the document has been uploaded automatically, and we can see that the variables have been inserted for the ones that are in there, which we can double check as well. But we can see what's the name of the lender, lender name, text question, which we can make required or not. We can say what is the license number of the lender. We can just say what's the license number, what's the loan number, what is the statute or code? Let's say, I'm going to say, what is the relevant statute or code? What's the address of the property covered by the insurance? That's fine. See if we want anything else. If we wanted to take off page 2 and page 1, we can do that as well. I want to change this to not have template in it. Let's see, signatories information, signature page. Let's see. So now we're just kind of reviewing that we want this to be how it is. We can add anything else here. Name of the signatory, title, date. That's a date question. If we wanted the original one to be something else, like a number, so we could say number. So you can quickly just go through and spot check everything is good, add any conditional logic. For the signatory page, we can just go here and change this from a question type of text to signature. We can go ahead and save any changes we're making, go to our output documents, and we can change the name of this as well. So we could say something like, I don't know, anti-coercion insurance disclosure. And then we can say something like the borrower's name or whatever it was for us, borrower name. So we'll just put in borrower name, and let's say we want to just generate this as a PDF. So we can also change any of our settings if we wanted to skip the final review page or include a link for the user to continue later. If we wanted to change the style, we can do all of those things. But essentially, we've just gone through, we've made all of our pages, we've just spot checked all of our questions. We have our output document. If we wanted to see how this looks right now and make any updates, we go to edit document here, which is also a newer feature as well, which takes you to your document template library. And from there, you can download this version. So let's say if I just click on it, I can save this and then I can review it and I can make any changes, replace, etc. So what we'll see is that we're going to give it just a second to finish loading. What we'll see is that, for example, borrower name has already been automatically inserted. The statute or code variable has already been inserted, and it was with our change. So one of the things here would also be around formatting. So you'd want to make sure that you can format as well. So if you wanted this to be all caps, if you wanted this to be first name, first letter capital, etc. So you'll just go through and double check to make sure that this, for example, we'll need to use our document tagger word add-in to just make sure that gets added. You'll be able to interact with the AI ones that you create the same way that you would interact with any of your other workflows, which is that you'd be able to see it here on the list and that you'd be able to interact with the variables as well. So here, for example, I'd be able to interact with the simple variables. So I'd be able to see lender name and license number. So I could come over here and just replace this one that didn't quite go through. So I could say lender name, standard. I can come over here and say license number and drop that in. The loan number can also go here. So I can just find that, insert that here. Borrower name was already inserted. State or code is already inserted. However, I do want this to be all caps to match everything else. So I can find that one and then say uppercase, insert, and then I just want to make sure that this is bolded. But notice that the only thing that really needed to change from what was there originally is this part here. So you could have left it the way it was and just added this straight line and then upper. So just note that as well. And then if we come down, property address has been added. Borrower name has already been added. Signature of signatory has been added. Name of signatory has been added. So just need to add these two things. So we can take this one, which is the title of the signatory. And then if we wanted to, we could make the date signed be today, or we can use the signature, we can still have a date signed. Since I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking we don't really need the date of signature. So we can kind of just take this one off, and then we can replace this with today. So that depends on if this was something that you would want to be retroactive, where you or like you're doing in advance or whatever else. But if you want it to be that this date is the date that the workflow is run, then you could just use today rather than having a separate variable, but that's up to you. So now we've been able to kind of spot check this. We can save this, and then the last step here would actually be to go ahead and replace the one that we have in here. So once we've reviewed everything, lender name, license number, borrower name, loan number, statute, or code, property address, borrower name, signature, name, title, date, then we can just go to our same one, make sure we're selected there. We can say select a document to replace. We can find the one that we want to replace, and then we just say update in Gavel. That's going to go ahead and automatically replace the document that is here in output documents. So we don't have to take it off and then reattach it. We can just replace it directly from within the Word add-in. Once you see that it says done, you're going to be able to go ahead and run this and test your workflow that you created using the AI generated workflow from Gavel Blueprint. So if we go ahead and run this as a test, then we'll be able to see how we're getting on. You could also, if you wanted to, add different sections later on, like borrower's information, signatory's information, etc., etc. But if you don't want that, you don't have to have it. It would just add some progress bar labels on the side. So in this case, we'll just do what's the name of the lender. We're going to say something like ABC lender, and then we'll say for the license number, it would be something like 123456789 the license number, the loan number, we'll say it's 123544321. The relevant statute or code, we'll just say like section 102, something, something. What's the address of the property to be covered? We can say 123 Property Street in, I don't know, we'll say San Marcos, California, 92069. Continue. And then we'll see the next question is borrower's information. What's the name of the borrower? We'll say this is called XYZ borrower. Or it could be like John Doe, Jane Doe, etc., etc. Let's go ahead and continue. What is the name of the signatory? So let's say this is Brittany Hernandez, and the signatory's title is, let's say, owner of, I don't know, XYZ borrower. Continue. Now we have the signature page, so I'll just put my signature here and continue. Then we'll be able to see our Here Are Your Documents page where we have our document, our PDF document here, which is going to have all the information that we entered from when we tagged our document, such as ABC lender, XYZ borrower, the license number, the loan number, the section number here, and we have the property address here. We have the borrower's name here, the signature of the signatory, the name, the title, and today's date. So that is how you're able to use the brand new Gavel Blueprint feature, which is super exciting and was going to make creating workflows so much faster. And you're able to just have these workflow questions as well as variables built out for you, as well as having your document templates automatically tagged as soon as you kind of go through that process. One thing I would note and remind you is to just remember when you're doing these that the AI may not consider your team's kind of overall strategy as far as variables. So just keep that in mind and make sure you understand where different pieces are that you want the variables to be the same across different documents so that you can have your clients benefit from data persistence. So use this with the idea of your overall strategy as well. But this is going to really make it to where you're able to build so much faster, and it's going to really help you along the way. So I hope this was useful, and I'll see you in the next video.